Hey, it's Chris Matlashewski with the Built in Calgary team, and today I am chatting with Wilson Wong. He's a CPA who's practicing here in Calgary, and we're talking about FHSA, the tax-free first-time home savings account that is in the 2022 budget, but is set for people to take advantage of in the 2023 tax year. So Wilson, being fairly knowledgeable on this, can you share with us exactly what FHSA is?
Yeah. For starters, it's a hell of an acronym, FHSA. You'll be seeing that a whole lot more next year in 2023. I'm calling it the FHSA for short, because it's just easier to pronounce. It's bringing together the best of two worlds, bringing together the best of the RRSP and the TFSA and combining it, right? What's happening is every year, if you open up one of these accounts, you're going to be able to put away $8,000 maximum, that's the maximum, towards a lifetime maximum of $40,000 into this account, and you get that deduction on your personal taxes, just like an RRSP would, right? And then once in the account, you can grow it, and it will continue to grow, also on a tax-free basis. So when you're ready to buy your home, you can draw it all out and stick it into your down payment, and that will be a completely tax-free transaction, right? So let's put that in perspective. A little bit of math here. Let's say you're fortunate enough to put away $40,000 into one of these accounts over the course of several years, right? 5 years, right? 8,000 times 5, 40,000. And then you got 40,000, and that 40,000, it grew to, like, let's say 50. Well, that 50, you can draw the whole thing out tax-free and stick it into your down payment. So it's a wonderful thing. In contrast, what has already existed is the home buyers plan. That's always been around for a very long time, where you can borrow on your RRSP, but you got to pay it back. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with the home buyers plan. You got to pay it back. Even though it's your money, you got to pay it back. In this case, there's nothing to pay back. It's yours. You got the tax-free benefit. You got the deduction, right? It's overall a very wonderful thing.
So on the home buyers plan, are you able to make a withdrawal from both the home buyers plan and FHSA at the same time, or are they allowing that?
The home buyers plan will still be available, but you'll only have the option of one or the other. You won't be able to do both.
Yeah, no, and I think that's important for people to distinguish. You're talking about the RRSP. Are you able to transfer, from FHSA to an RRSP and vice versa, or do those again have to stay arm's length?
So actually there is a provision for that, right? Let's say you put away 40 grand and, you just decided that, I'm not going to buy a home, right? Or for whatever reason, you put away and you just, maybe you got a very awesome inheritance and you don't need to use this 40,000. It's in this account now. What are you going to do with it? Right? If you're never going to use it? Well, there's two options. You can draw it out and it becomes taxable again, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to do that, because all the tax savings you had, that just completely reverses itself. Or you can transfer to your RRSP without affecting your RRSP deduction limit. Mm-hmm. So that's also a very wonderful thing. So it can go into the RRSP, but there's no reversal. You can't take 40 grand from your RRSP and stick into your FHSA. And for that matter, you don't really want to do that either, because this is really creating a whole new $40,000 bucket that you can use outside of the RRSP that has the same effects.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, did you say that there's a time frame in which you can use the FHSA? Does it expire at all? Mature?
Yeah, over the course of 15 years, you've got to buy that first home or make a decision to either draw it out or stick in your RRSP.
Okay. And any type of eligibility requirements to be able to implement or utilize FHSA?
Yeah. So it is the first home savings account, right? First home. That's it's very loosely defined right now. So we're not 100% sure what it looks like, but in general, what guidance we do know about it is it's going to be the preceding 4 years, 4 calendar years. You cannot have owned or beneficially owned a home, right? So that would make you a first home buyer, first time.
So what happens if somebody is renting, and their landlord approaches them and asks them if they'd be interested to purchase the home? That if the people have currently occupied the home or within the last 4 years, are they eligible for a program like this?
Yes, because they're renting.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Because they're renting, right? They're tenants. They don't own a home, right? In any way or form. And then they stick 40 grand in this thing and it's ready to go. The landlord goes, hey, you want to take this off my hands? And you happen to have that 40? Great.
Okay. All right. And is there an age restriction, minimum, maximum age person can take advantage of FHSA?
Can't be older than 71.
Okay.
And I think the logic behind that, the rationale behind that is because if you don't use it, you could stick into your RSP, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to align that age with RSP's age limitation, which is also 71.
Okay. 71. And what about somebody that's a young generation, 18, 21, 16? Is there a minimum age on that?
Well, 16, you wouldn't be able to buy a home.
Okay.
18, you certainly can buy a home, but you're only able to do $8,000 per year maximum. That's the limitation, really, right? It's $8,000 a year. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely an improvement, and I think that there's some opportunity there for somebody. And I wish, in some ways, you were talking about being able to pivot from from FHSA into RRSPs, but you can't do it the other way, because I know
again, you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to, right?
Oh, that's right, because you'd have the taxation on it.
Yeah, you don't want to take from your RSP and into your FHSA. Right? You want to be able to put from FHSA into RSP, yeah, because the logic is if you don't spend that money, you've just created $40,000 of RSP deduction limit that you didn't have. Right? You just gained that. Right? Whereas if you took $40,000 from something that you've already contributed, well, you're not going to get any benefit out of that at all, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really good information. And then there's something else that I was wanting to chat with you about. The another thing that's in the budget right now that they're looking to bring forward there. I just want to make sure that I've got the wording correct and the acronym on it. The Multi Generational Home Renovation Tax Credit, MGHRTC, and I'd be interested to know if you come up with your own acronym on that.
Yeah, that's way too big as a as a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who comes up with these things, but that person's not doing a very fine job. But yeah, the idea is it's going to be a 15% tax credit on up to $50,000 to renovate an older home that you guys live in, so that you can bring together multiple generations. And that's kind of like a very old world thing, right? Like in the old world countries, you see a lot of families with multiple generations. You got grandma and husband and wife and the kids, 3 generations under one roof. So they're trying to help with that renovation and construction costs by providing this 15% tax credit. So we're not giving you $50,000. It's actually 15% of 50, which is going to be $7,500. Yeah.
Okay.
So the interesting thing about that one, I think, is if you look at that, it will probably be introduced in the form of a non-refundable tax credit. Again, I'm not sure yet because it's not completely past royal assent or anything yet. But it will probably be a non-refundable tax credit. There was something similar several years ago for home accessibility renovations. This is for seniors renovating their home to make it more accessible for them. And that came in the form of a non-refundable tax credit. So you might say, what do I mean by that? It means that if you are already paying zero taxes, you're not going to get more money out of it, actually. You're not going to get money back.
Yeah.
Only if you are paying taxes, you might get up to $7,500.
Yeah, and that's really good to know, because I think that'll. It's not so much that it avoids frustration, and it avoids that the thinking that somebody can incorporate this if they're not I guess contributing back to the Canadian tax system.
Yeah.
But I do like the option for it, though. My only concern is I've heard with some of these environmental tax credits for people that are renovating their home, putting in triple pane windows, higher insulation, you name it, energy efficient appliances, that the program I've heard, and I'm about to go through it next year, is it's a bit laborious, in the sense that it's a challenge to actually get everything correct.
Yeah, I went through it this summer. Yeah, I did the same thing this summer. We're still going through it. We haven't seen a penny yet. So
yeah,
construction's been done since June. So yeah,
right.
It's very tedious.
Yeah, and tedious in terms of like following the forms to a T, or what makes that process difficult?
Well, first you have to pay for I'm going to call them an auditor, an auditor, a third-party auditor that reports to the government your before construction, before your project, right? What it looked like, your home. So you got this person coming in, and they do a bunch of tests, right, to assess your I don't want to call it carbon footprint, but just how efficient your home is. Right? And then people come in, do your project, and you have to re-invite that guy to come back in again to see the after. Right? But for that matter, you got to make sure that whatever you're doing actually does qualify, has specific qualities and traits, will end up being energy efficient. Right? And then once that's all is done, then 6 months later, you'll get a check. So I'll probably see something maybe next year.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people that are looking to do that to remember that there's an upfront fee for doing that. I can't recall, does $700 or $1,000 sound right for this third party to come in and assess before and after?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. $100 that the government will cover.
Okay.
If you're successful.
Right. Okay. And so, here's maybe a shameless plug for you. I mean, is this something that you would want to get an expert to fill out the form, or are they just long and tedious but self-explanatory?
The whole process is done by this third-party auditor.
Okay. All right. So he just comes in, and now you're just waiting. Okay. Well, that's excellent. I really appreciate you sort of breaking down the potential grants and FHSA, the possible eligible programs that are coming on stream here in 2023, and hopefully that helps out Canadians in the future. So I appreciate that. And if somebody's got any questions on that, or they're looking for a good accountant, what's your company, and whereabouts are you located in Calgary?
I am located off Blackfoot on 59th Avenue. Right? So if they Google my name, Wilson Wong CPA in Calgary, they will find me. Yeah, always looking for wonderful people to work with, and I think, you're absolutely right. I think that the Liberal government really is trying really hard to come up with solutions to resolve home ownership. Right? And it's definitely going to help. It'll take a lot of time to help, but it is a wonderful thing. Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for taking a part of your day here. And I'll if anybody reaches out, I'll be sure to pass on your contact information.
Sure thing.
Okay, appreciate it.